I'm a senior software developer and I've been in the IT industry for over 6 years. My journey getting to this point was definitely not smooth, and there are certain things that I would change if I were to start over. So here are 5 things that I would do differently if I were to start learning programming from scratch. Make sure to stay until the end because I will share a bonus tip that I guarantee you will not regret. So firstly, don't act or pretend like you'll understand or know certain things. So I used to have that thing that whenever I asked someone for help and we started a conversation, I used to do 2 things wrong. So first of all, I did not ask any clarification questions on things that I did not understand. Also, one of the worst things that I've done is that whenever somebody asked me if I'm familiar with a certain topic, I would just say yes, even if that was not the case, and we would move on. And I used to do that just so that I wouldn't look stupid in the eyes of other people. This might sound really dumb, but this is what I actually used to do. Over time, this kind of behavior piled up and I started to feel even worse and worse just because, well, really I pretended that I understood things, but I actually didn't. So my main point out of this, don't be afraid to look stupid. Trust me, people won't judge you for it. In fact, they will probably admire your honesty and will also enjoy helping you further. This is something that really slowed down my growth, and I would really advise you to pay attention to this one so that you wouldn't repeat my mistakes. The second point is that you need to take time to learn new things. This might sound obvious, but a lot of people don't realize that they are standing in one place. So specifically in my case, I used to do everything the same way when we're talking about solving certain kinds of problems. And the worst part about it is that the solution that I used to use and repeat was already bad in itself. Therefore, never stop learning, continue to try out new things, and this holds true both for beginner and advanced programmers. Read about best practices and try to solve the same problem in various ways. And just remember that you need to adopt good approaches when it comes to solving problems from the very beginning, otherwise this could really hurt you in the long run. If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure to subscribe to the channel and stay until the end where I will share an important bonus tip. And now let's get back. And since we started to talk about learning, let's jump to point number 3, which would be to learn the basic fundamental things. These are the things that you just must know in order to be a good programmer, and there is no way to get around them. The more you're gonna delay it, the worse it's gonna get. So these things would be solid principles, design and architectural patterns, as well as data structures and algorithms. These things, they might sound boring to you or perhaps not even relevant, but these are industry standards and you have to know them without a question. The way I used to write code was, well, the way it just made sense to me, and this resulted in me inventing certain kind of solutions, which were really bad. This became even worse when I started to reuse them, and you could imagine what kind of a snowball effect this had. So the main point to get out of this is to not reinvent the wheel, find good solutions, understand how they work, use them, and remember for the future. Point number 3 might be a bit controversial to some of you, but I would really advise you not to waste time by reading programming books. As a beginner, you need to focus on getting as much practice as you can, and I believe the books aren't just gonna cut it for you. Reading books is a good tool for senior programmers, or perhaps maybe you approach it as a hobby. You just like reading programming books, but you're not taking this as a serious way of learning something new. It is very hard for beginners to get any actual practice done with advanced topics, and therefore what ends up happening is that you waste a lot of time and you forget everything. A better alternative that I would personally suggest is to go for an online course. However, I do have to stress out this fact that now that I'm a senior developer, I tend to come back to books more often to read about advanced topics and just in general get more information that I could not find on the web. The last very important point that I found out later in my career is the fact how other people could influence your growth. When you surround yourself with right people, your growth doesn't just grow linearly, it grows exponentially. At some point in my life, I was a middle software developer and I was surrounded with people just like me, or perhaps even less in terms of knowledge. Most of them weren't even in my particular field. I'm saying this because I did not have anybody I could look up to that was so much smarter than me, and this resulted in me just trying to learn by myself, which was not that great or fast. At some point, I decided to change my job so that I could satisfy the needs that I had for my growth and development in a new workplace. So I did just that, and when I was put in the right environment with a lot of senior developers, a lot of team leads surrounding me, my growth skyrocketed. I've learned more in the course of 6 months than I ever did over the course of more than 1 year on my previous job position. And all I did to achieve this is surround myself with like-minded individuals who were much smarter than me. The bonus point that I would really love to share with you guys is the fact that you need to always stay curious and you need to be interested in learning how things work under the hood. As a beginner programmer, you will always need to learn a lot of new things and do a lot of copy pasting. However, the worst thing that you can do is do this kind of thing blindly. So for example, you have a need to solve a certain kind of problem, you would go on the internet, you would find the solution, you would copy it, see if it works. If it does, you leave it at that. And that's it. This results in nothing because sure, you found a solution, sure, your project works now, but you've learned nothing as a developer because you did not take any time to understand how it works and why it works in the first place. So whenever you come across something that you don't know, take some time to learn how it works, even as little as a couple of minutes. When we talk about curiosity, you should adopt this kind of thinking not just to things like writing code, but to everything that surrounds you. It could be a terminal, how it works, it could be your IDE, it could be networking in general as an area, and so many other things. Imagine that you're building a very big puzzle and it has many different areas. Your job is to figure out not only what those areas are, but how they interconnect with one another. And staying curious will not only help you in the long run, but will keep you motivated. So there you have it. This is definitely not the full list, but the 5 things that I would do differently if I were to start programming from scratch. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to give it a like. If you're interested in checking out the benefits of starting programming in 2023, check out this video. Have a good day and see ya.